Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the UGC League. My name is Captain Canuck, and I'm going to be joined by a co-broadcaster here. He's a good buddy of mine, a teammate, but he'll be introduced in just a second. For now, though, let's introduce his... words, I can't do them right now. Let's introduce the teams. We're going to be having We Got Late Game versus Perfectionvore here. These are two insanely exciting teams that I love to watch here in the UGC League, and it has been an absolute blast casting them throughout the season. Currently, this is the first round of the Western Invite Playoffs, so this is the creme de la creme of the UGC League, and we've got the first seed, which is We Got Late Game, versus the 8th seed, Perfectionvore. The winner of that will go on to face the winner of No Brood Mama versus Irresistible Stallion. So we're going to be having a best of 3 series today, and as soon as this is done, we're going to find out who is moving on. So, yeah, pretty straightforward. Anyways, let's hop over to the draft. Let's introduce my co-caster, and let's get this show rolling. Alright, Will, you're unmuted. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's going to be a pretty good game. I've seen Perfectionvore play before, and they're quite the team.
They are. They're definitely exciting. We had quite the broadcast going last time we watched them. It was pretty insane. It was the tiebreaker match between Perfectionvore and Ogre Club owners, and I think the result of that game resulted in this seeding. I think that game squeezed Perfectionvore into the playoffs over their opponents there. So
yeah, it was a very clutch win for them. They relied on a lot of movement and mobility in that game. I think half their team or more picked up Blink Dagger, so I'm going to expect that they do something similar in this game because that seemed to work well for them last game.
Yeah, no, We Got Late Game have been absolutely dominant this season. I've seen them in previous seasons of the UGC League. They're always right at the top of their game. They're a team that I look up to that are just incredibly good at what they do. And, I mean, sitting at the first seed in the first round of the playoffs says something very... it says something about them and who they are as a team. So definitely exciting to... definitely going to be an exciting match. But I think just in terms of seeding and in terms of the results throughout the course of the season, We Got Late Game has a little bit of an undeniable edge coming into this series.
Yeah, I won't deny you that, and I definitely have seen these teams draft before, and both of these drafters are very adaptable. We see that presumably bans out the Pugna, and then the immediate response by Perfectionvore is to ban out the Lesh because they don't want to give that pick up to Late Game for the first pick. So
yeah, and both
the
teams,
experience.
Yeah. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, the experience of the drafters really comes through in those initial bans. So
yeah, and I mean the IO ban as well. I mean, it kind of shows what tier of team this is. You know, IO is not banned very much in amateur tournaments. I mean, our team, we're mid to low 4K bracket, and we don't ban Wisp, and nobody we plays against bans Wisp. But these guys, they know that it can be dangerous in the right hand, so they make sure that's out of the pool. The Bloodseeker as well. I mean, he's kind of just a hero that messes things up, and we were talking in the last, or I was talking with Peter a while back about how teams are really good at juggling damage, and they're really good at making sure that everybody gets out of a fight with 10% HP. They're good at using all their resources. And Bloodseeker disrupts that because the lower your resources get, the stronger he gets. So the hero is kind of counterintuitive to pro play in the fact that you can't exhaust all your resources, and you can't stay in a fight for as long as you normally would, because otherwise Bloodseeker will just murder you at the end when he comes in for the cleanup crew. So definitely a strong hero, but will not be seeing him today as he's banned out. Gyrocopter and Queen of Pain, two very popular picks that I don't think anyone expected not to see after that first stage of bans.
Yeah, I definitely see this first pick Gyro as showing late games confidence coming into this game to just be oh, here's our carry, try to counter it all you want, but we're running Gyro this game, and let's see what you can do against it, because I haven't seen teams running support Gyro at all, so it's definitely a confident move by them.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it'll work out well for him. Now, the Coddle pickup, this is interesting. This is something that is not seen rarely. It's barely seen ever, if at all. And kind of makes me think that we won't be seeing a... actually, oh my god, you know what? So I'm thinking right now. We Got Late Game is notorious for running a 4-position Night Stalker, and presumably that's like his specialty, man. Like we've seen that happen before when I've watched them. I've casted endless games of them with that 4-position Night Stalker, and it kind of makes me think that we might see this against the Coddle, because Coddle really benefits from the daytime, especially when he gets his Aghanim Scepter. And if you pick up that Night Stalker, you remove a lot of their vision, you remove a lot of the Queen of Pain's ability to maneuver, because she doesn't know what's in front of her. And that Keeper of the Light, he's not going to be able to get an Ags.
Yeah, that Night Stalker pick really seems to like fit pretty well right now. The silence is good on Quap to prevent her from blinking away. The ultimate of nighttime darkness just like wrecks Coddle if he has eggs, because he benefits from that, like all of his buffs during the day.
Yeah,
so
I really think that if Perfectionvore hasn't done their research and doesn't ban it out, it's going to come up in the next phase. I'm putting like 95% odds on Night Stalker coming up if it's not banned. But
I don't see like a exact purpose for the disruptor beyond this like beautiful combo of the call down into the static storm and kinetic field. Like that control factor
I think
is
the
pretty
disruptor has two functions here, and one being just dealing with the Queen of Pain. I mean, disruptor is so good at dealing with Queen of Pain. Just that glimpse once she's blinked out is, you know, usually more than enough to kill her. And then on top of that, if you need the silence, you have the silence as well. So you just drop it down, mess her up, and it's really rough. But as well as that, I mean, you and I played a pub game, I think it was just yesterday, where I was disruptor, you were gyro. And, you know, we've seen how potent that lane combo can be. I mean, somebody walking away from you, you glimpse them right back into the rocket barrage, and Gyrocopter has an easy time dishing out that insane amount of early game damage that he has. So it's a really good lane matchup, and regardless of what their next support is, I think they're going to have a really easy time dealing with whatever offlane is put up against them.
And it's especially easy because you can like clear out the creep wave, and then as they're running away, use the glimpse, so that you're guaranteeing that rocket barrage is only hitting that hero, right?
Yeah.
And outputting all of its damage onto the offlane hero. We're seeing an Abaddon ban come out from Perfectionvore, so maybe they haven't done their research and don't expect the Night Stalker pick to be coming out, but maybe they're also fearing a little bit of sustain from We Got Late Game.
Yeah, I'm actually really curious about why the Abaddon ban was there, because they don't have much in the way of like purging. Like, you know, you pick Abaddon against a Mirana or something so you can purge off the arrow, or like against a Bane or whatever. But there's not really anything that's significant on Perfectionvore's draft so far that the Abaddon would really benefit We Got Late Game for. So I'm kind of curious, skeptical on that, but maybe they have something in line for their next couple picks that would make the Abaddon a more worthwhile ban. Undying on the other side, it's a very standard pickup, and even though I think We Got Late Game already has a decent draft for dealing with the Undying, you still never really want to get that guy on the field. So they're going to ban that out, easy peasy, and we'll see what their next ban is here in just a second.
Yeah, with the Undying pick, it could be that they want to run a little bit of a greedier support. Disruptor is already a little bit greedy, but if they want to run something like a Jungle CM or a Sand King or maybe a roaming Bounty Hunter, banning out that Undying is always a safe bet to kind of secure the safety of your safe line, right?
Yeah, that's true. So, I mean, he's really good with those offlane duos as well. Like sticking two heroes against that Gyro Disruptor is actually a decent way to combat it. Because, like I said, you know, you have a really easy time dealing with one hero because you glimpse into the Rocket Barrage, into the call down, whatever you want. But, you know, if you have two heroes there, when the glimpse goes off, you kind of just turn and fight. And depending on who those two heroes are, obviously if it's Undying, but, you know, with a couple other heroes, you could just turn it back around and, you know, try to blow up these two heroes that are relatively squishy. I mean, Gyrocopter's got a decent health pool, but Disruptor, he's made of paper and glass, so, I mean...
yeah, he's mincemeat for an Undying.
Yeah, so good bans there, and I think the Beastmaster kind of has the same purpose there as well. As you know, if you have the boar up, you can kind of keep that Disruptor out of your face, and you know, sometimes turn and fight. Like people really underestimate how much burst damage a Beastmaster has. So I really don't mind that ban at all. I think it works out well for him. But Perfectionvore actually lets their last ban go. They ran out of reserve time there, and they don't ban anything. So. Night Stalker. I think it's gonna happen, man. I don't see how it doesn't happen here.
Yeah, I definitely see your point, especially with the Beastmaster ban. That's like saying we don't want you to have much vision, right?
Yeah.
So they recognize that if they're going to shut down the Coddle vision with darkness, then they also want to knock down alternative.
Oh, they didn't do it? Of course they didn't do it.
No.
Why would they? Maybe it's an offlane Nyx. Maybe it's an offlane Nyx. Who knows? But I don't know, man. Like I said, presumably just runs that Night Stalker on 4 position so much. Like, if this was any other team, I would not have even thought of Night Stalker. But just because of them, I was thinking that it would happen, and it doesn't. So, well, we'll see. Maybe. I doubt they'll run an offlane Nyx, to be honest. Who knows? It could be a mid Nyx to try to deal with the Quap. I mean, Nyx does really well against Queen of Pain.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm not sold on that. I don't know if they're going to run the
Well, actually,
Night Stalker.
you know what? Now that I'm looking at it again, I mean, they have the Shadow Fiend. They want to go the Shadow Fiend mid. There's going to be a Queen of Pain probably in the safe lane, which means that if they run the offlane Nyx, I think Nyx will do fairly well. I mean, he can mana burn out the Keeper of the Light, make sure that Coddle isn't spamming out the Illuminate, isn't giving out mana, and you know, you're kind of guaranteed to get damage on that Coddle because of his Chakra Magic. And you know, Queen of Pain, you do fairly well against her. You can't die to a Queen of Pain unless you really mess up as Nyx. So I think that could be a relatively easy offlane there. And the Spirit Breaker, it's going to be a roaming combo, but I think we got late game as a pretty good lineup for dealing with this. I mean, if Gyro gets charged, he turns on a Rocket Barrage, turns around and does just as much damage to the Spirit Breaker as Spirit Breaker's doing to him. The Disruptor just glimpses away, and Nyx has 2 stuns that are really good at breaking the Spirit Breaker. So I don't know if that's... Yeah, I'm not sure how the Spirit Breaker pickup is going to work out for Perfectionvore, but who knows? Who knows? It could have some utility.
Yeah, if they get a Blade Mail on him, that kind of nullifies a little bit of the Rocket Barrage, right? Reflects it back, so that could be a good pickup. But
there it is!
Here you go!
I was right! Ah! Alright, good. I'm happy. Okay. Crisis averted.
Crisis averted. Yeah, I definitely...
Chat flames me if I get things wrong, so I have to... they'll probably flame me if I got it right anyways.
It's a good pick, the Night Stalker. We've almost talked it a little bit to death at this point, but I really think that the Darkness is going to combine with the Nyx Assassin quite well in terms of limiting vision. Like, even if you have sentries down with your observer wards, that Nyx is going to have a lot of ability to kind of sneak around those wards with the reduced vision by darkness, right?
Yeah. I mean, I really like the way this draft is shaping up for him, but I do think it's a little low on damage, and you know, their next pickup is probably going to be their mid hero, so they need to make sure it's something that can deal with the Shadow Fiend and also pump out a lot of damage. I'm thinking Lina.
Yeah, Lina's a good pick here for damage. The Night Stalker and Nyx can definitely be in the front lines and tanking and kind of keeping that Lina safe, but you do have to also look at the other side and be like, oh, they have a Quap, right? If Quap gets on that Lina and gets off first scream, then Lina can like blow up. But then again, if Lina gets the initiation, it's the Quap that's going down, right?
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword there, but is this a support Morphling? I think it is.
I don't think I've ever seen support Morphling.
It's fantastic, man. It's fantastic. You got a 5-second stun on an 8-second cooldown. And, I mean, he's beefy as all hell because he's strength gained the whole time. And if you get to the late game and he picks up an Aghanims, you're going to have 2 Shadow Fiends running around throwing raises everywhere. So, definitely not a bad pickup. I think it can work well for him. They're going to need to make sure that their early levels are secured and this Morphling starts to get a couple levels so that I can get that max adaptive strike pretty quickly. But beyond that, I think the Morphling's going to really do work for him, and it's going to help them shut down that Night Stalker, keep him from running away too much, and it's going to help him lock down the Gyro as well. And the Storm's going to be the choice over the Shadow Fiend. And I know this is a specialty of Dory, so we've seen I've seen Dory playing Storm Spirit before, and it is incredibly deadly. So this mid matchup will be really interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out.
Yeah, a Storm versus SF is usually kind of SF is kind of at a little bit of a disadvantage right off the start until he gets some souls up, and then once he hits level 6, he's got those raises where he can spend out the wave.
It's a weird matchup because, like, between levels 2 and 5, Shadow Fiend wins, but at level 6 and above, Storm Spirit wins, so it's weird. But
it's important to note that the SF is on the Dire, though, but introduction time, I believe.
Introductions, indeed. over on the side of Perfectionvore, we've got CptnCanuckDota going to be taking that Queen of Pain. Alex over on the Morphling. Duke going to be playing the Spear Breaker. What the hell? Alex Babies on the Shadow Fiend, and Kronosh on the Keeper of the Light. I don't know what's going on. Every time I click on the hero's portrait, my camera just goes apeshit. But anyways, over on the side of We Got Late Game, we've got presumably playing the Night Stalker, Lokarn on the Nyx Assassin, Dory going to be taking that Storm Spirit, we talked about him, Save over on the Disruptor, and Hora going to be playing the Gyrocopter. Now I do believe that Lokarn and Hora are both stand-ins. Actually, I think Lokarn's played with them before, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I think Late Game is playing with a somewhat hindered roster, so we'll see how that affects them as the game goes on, but I don't think it should be that big a problem. They're going to commit 5 heroes to the bottom bounty rune to make sure that they get that, but looks like Perfectionvore is there to fight it. They've got 4. It's going to be a 4v5 while Quap gets the top rune, but the charge goes in. Storm Spirit's going to get the bounty rune, and the Rocket Barrage is going out. Great stun by the Nyx Assassin. Catches 2. Shadow Fiend's going to be the first blood of this game. Alex is running into the pit, but he's got a... yeah, he's got the waveform, and he's going to get over there.
Yeah, great stun by Nyx. He went double mango build, so I'm really, really excited to see this work. But overall, I think late game kind of comes on top there for getting the first blood, but they do have to kind of look at it now and be like, oh, we're a little bit low on HP, like they're mid. He's going to have to salve up, and presumably, I think it's going to have to run back to base. So, yeah, first blood's an advantage. But they lose a little bit as well. This
laning setup is a little weird. I'm looking at Perfectionvore, and they've got this kind of janky, odd, aggressive tri-lane down here on the bottom lane, and so far Alex's items and his skill build are telling me that this is actually a core Morphling. I was definitely expecting a support Morphling, and maybe they're just giving him the farm until he can get like a soul ring and stuff and get a couple levels up, but this is a really odd lane, and I mean, it's going to do well at kind of interrupting this Gyro's farm, but its efficiency isn't fantastic because, like I said, I think Nyx does really well against Quap on the top lane, and Storm is going to do really well against Shadow Fiend on the mid, so...
And here comes the rotation. Gyro's up in the top lane already, and Nyx is going to rotate down to the bottom lane. We're going to see if Perfectionvore responds by rotating their tri back up top, but they may just leave it bottom.
Yeah. And it looks like they are giving the last hits to the Morphling, so kind of an odd draft here. But they get on the Disruptor here, and they catch him with the Waveform, but it's just not enough damage to bring him down early. They've got 2 abilities that are just really, really shoddy at level 1. I mean, that charge doesn't do much without the bash, and the Waveform doesn't do much.
Ooh, Nyx is low here.
Nyx does get pretty low, but yeah, I think that's... it's a relatively easy walk away there, but
and
actually maybe they turn it back
20
around.
20 HP.
No, he gets a salve off. That was really, really close though. And Spirit Breaker goes for another charge, and a lucky bash on the first hit. Gets that Disruptor. Now looking for the Nyx Assassin. He's trying to run away. He pops off the Spike Carapace, but he is in a little bit of danger here. Maybe a good Illuminate? No, there's no mana on the Coddle. They get a couple more auto attacks, but he's going to be forced back to base, and will survive for now.
Okay.
So 1-for-1 exchange. Actually, no,
yeah,
not for 1-for-1.
Yeah, I think it was just the 1 kill on the Disruptor.
Yep.
That was it. But very close calls. Both teams coming down to like 20 HP on a few of their heroes there.
Yeah. This bottom lane is so weird, man. Like, I'm going to harp on this all game. Just, like, Coddle Morphling Spirit Breaker. That is not a traditional aggro try, but... I mean, I guess it works, and got the Night Stalker rotating up towards top to help support the Gyrocopter. They're going to share a little bit of XP here, but Quap is doing just fine up on top. Looks like she's got a bottle coming out to her on the courier, so she's going to have all the sustain she needs to stay in this lane and keep chucking out those daggers at Hora.
Yeah, Quap should be fine in this lane. Like, she's second on, I think, gold per minute, or...
Yeah,
so she's doing fine.
I think if we see Disruptor go up top, then Queen of Pain should start to see some trouble. I mean, if she gets glimpsed back into a Night Stalker Silence or something, that
they're going on Coddle.
They almost get him trapped inside of the kinetic field, but they glimpse him back and a few more auto attacks. That should be the end of the Coddle, and yep, that it is indeed. Disruptor gets himself a kill, and really good glimpse there. Ooh, yeah, that Sentry Ward. Look at that Sentry Ward. He placed it right here, and it just barely almost catches this ward, but not quite. So they're going to miss that obs, and it's going to stay where it is for now.
Does he have another Sentry? No, where's the other Sentry?
I'm not sure, but we missed a kill up on top as the Queen of Pain finds a solo kill onto the gyrocopter. Looks like just bursted him down a little bit too low with that dagger. And Quap's going to go looking for a rune, but not going to find it, and so she might have to make her way back to base. But yeah, solo kill on the enemy carry, that is always good. And so Hora's going to be having a bit of a rough time to start this game out. Spirit Breaker charging through the jungle, looking for that disruptor there, but the Spirit Breaker's there with a haste rune to help him out, and I don't know if Duke's going to find an easy way out of this. He does not have another charge, but the Spirit Breaker's there to help him out. A couple good raises, and he is fine to walk away from that, but Dory almost finds himself a kill.
Yeah, a little bit maybe of a misplay by Dory. He could have run past the Spirit Breaker before popping his Remnant.
Yeah.
Because he just missed him with the Remnant, but he's going to Bottle Crow, and he'll probably be fine here for lane. I think the Storm is actually out CSing the Shadow Fiend at this point.
Yeah, and I didn't actually have... Yeah, actually, yeah, that's right. I didn't have the last hits chart up, but that is it indeed. And oh, we've got a Night Stalker coming in here. Maybe they find a kill on Alex. Maybe he didn't see it. They're going for it. They get the slow. Is it going to be enough though? The Storm Spirit wasn't quite in range. They get another slow, one more auto attack, and he tries to salve through it, but presumably will get the kill. And I mean, that salve was kind of the difference between the Storm getting the kill over the Night Stalker, but I mean, whatever. You still get a kill on the enemy Shadow Fiend. You're happy with that. So good rotation on the mid lane, and Perfectionvore is now down a kill at 5 minutes 28 seconds into this game.
Yeah, definitely unfortunate for the SF. He had his waddle coming out, he had his boots coming out. Now he's going to have to probably walk on back to base because he can't afford a TP.
Yeah, bottom lane Mix Assassin. He is in trouble. Oh, we got action on both sides of the map here.
Oh,
Gyro
denied by Disruptor. Well played.
Yeah, actually. Oh. Yeah, I should have been watching top. That was much more exciting. But yeah, presumably he's going in on Chronosh here. He gets mana burn, but oh my god, the body blocks by Alex are good. He's still charging through the mana burn. He just needs that one attack, and he gets it. He's going to walk back away and doesn't actually end up getting stunned by that mana burn. He's out of mana, obviously, but gets that kill, and I definitely consider that worth it. So kills getting traded across the board. Up on top, Save gets caught out by the Queen of Pain and gets double bashed. This is what I was talking about in our last game, man. Whenever somebody else plays Spirit Breaker, they get every bash they need. When I play Spirit Breaker, it doesn't matter what I do. Pray to the gods, light a candle. I don't know, man. I'd sacrifice my firstborn, but I don't have one. Just...
Yeah, I don't know what it is with you and bashes, but whenever you go hit creeps, they seem to be like, oh, let's be bashed. And then as soon as you try to hit a hero, it's like, oh, no bashes allowed.
It's a curse, man. It's a curse.
Charge coming bottom with Spirit Breaker. He'll probably cancel. I doubt they're going to dive this, but oh, nope, Spirit Breaker.
Oh, he stopped just barely. Yeah, they didn't have the resources to go in on that, but that's alright.
Interesting choice by the call to get the second point into Mana Leak.
Yeah, I've been seeing this more and more lately. I think it's, I mean, Illuminate is just so expensive for what it gives you, but Teamfight breaking out here on the bottom lane as the Night Stalker charges
kinetic
in.
Fields
yeah,
setting
beautiful.
up for the flat cannon.
And the
Gyro's going to pay for his damage with his light, but they may get a counter kill here on the... Oh, no?
There we go. Two good kinetic fields, and they make that teamfight. Oh man, that waveform hit! No way that hit. Oh wow, okay. Just the tip of that waveform catches the disruptor and bursts him down low enough that a couple auto attacks will be his demise. So 2-for-1 exchange down on the bottom lane, favoring Perfectionvore, but it definitely looked like it could have been a lot worse for them.
And this... Oh, Storm's going on. SF in the middle lane. Going to use that Sippity Zap to apply some damage, and SF will fall here. He buys out his gloves to haste, so he doesn't lose too much gold, but good play by the Storm there, really abusing that level 7, level 6.
Yeah, down on bottom lane, Queen of Pain is there, goes for a blink, casts the ulti right underneath the tower, doesn't even worry about the gyro, just finishes off the Night Stalker, and they're going to do a little bit of chip damage on the gyrocopter here, but I don't think they find the kill here. And Alex, yeah, he waveforms away, should be fine. Queen of Pain looking for the mana to blink out, and Storm Spirit is in here looking for Alex, but the strength gain is way too much, and he's got no mana left. Dory is going to be in a lot of trouble here as 4 heroes are now just whacking away at him. Can they bring him down? Looking for the bashes of the Spirit Breaker, but he gets held out by a good kinetic field, and Duke is going to get brought down by that rocket barrage. So we see one hero on the dire side getting lost in that exchange, and Alex just cannot seem to die here, even though he gets glimpsed back. Up to 700 HP with that strength gain. And will he be able to bring him down? I don't think so. He walks away. Oh, no, he walks back in, gets... kinetic field holds him. They don't have the damage. He's gonna be fun.
You know, this chakra magic just enables Morphling to almost morph strength at like as much as he wants, because he's a little bit mana intensive to kind of switch his stats, but with this Coddle providing him mana, he's free to switch back and forth and be aggressive with agility and back to strength when he gets low. So it's a really nice combo here.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit unorthodox, but we see it working quite well.
Yeah, and 7-7 is our kill total here as we round in on the 10-minute mark. So game holding really, really even, and it's going to be interesting to see how the game progresses from here. We got 3 heroes from the Dire side down up against 3 from the Radiant, but it doesn't look like anyone's initiating any sort of fight right now. So Spiritbreaker going to charge off towards mid where Hora is backing up. I think he knows this is coming. They did have a ward down on they did have this ward right here that spotted out the Spiritbreaker charge. So Jara gets himself back and he will remain safe. Up on top, Queen of Pain just farming up, doing her thing, getting her treads up, and she's 201. That's a good score for the Queen of Pain to have, and we'll probably start working in towards that Aghanim Scepter. Actually, she might go Orchid first this game. I think that might be the call.
We'll get to see here in the next few minutes in terms of whether she saves up or maybe goes. Yeah. She probably wants to hide whether or not she's going for Orchid or for the Aghanims, but she's picking up the Sobi mask and selling it periodically, so it may be an Orchid. But we'll see. She's had a lot of space in this top lane though.
Yeah, I actually think you need to go Orchid against this Storm, but charge down here on the bottom. They're just going to dive right underneath this tower. No regard for anything that the Radiant side has, and with a couple auto attacks, that'll be the end of presumably. Looking for save as well. The Storm Spirit comes in. He's looking for the Keeper of the Light. Will find him, but he's got 2 more heroes to deal with. It doesn't matter. He's charging right in. Looking for Duke. Alex finds himself right in the middle of that call down.
But he just can't die.
And yeah, this Morphling is so elusive and sneaks away. Actually, he didn't have a replicant. How did he get up? Did he just waveform over?
Yeah, he waveformed and strength gained during the waveform.
Oh, okay, because I saw him sitting down here and I saw him jump over to here, but I thought it was a replicant because he just went so fast. But yeah, presumably teleports down to bottom again, and he does have some support coming in. Looks like Perfectionvore is going to back out with a glimpse on the SF. That's going to be the end of him. He's got a double damage. Maybe he turns his back around. 1 more auto attack, and he does get the Night Stalker, but he's going to pay for it with his own life. But there goes the Morphling yet again, charging in. He's got no auto attack damage, but it doesn't matter. Finishes off the Disruptor. And what a bloody string of battles that was down on bottom lane. Just kills, teleports, and just didn't stop.
Yeah, I honestly, these fights are going too quickly till we'll see who's coming on top. The fight recap seems to say that the Dire came out on top that fight, but you never know what's going.
I know, it's just these massive slugfests, man. Like I'm imagining a boxing fight where nobody dodges. It's just like pow, 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 pow. It's bloody. It's bloody.
The gloves are off and both teams are swinging. We have a little bit of a pause here, but here Nyx comes with his ult and he's hunting for kills. I think he spots out the SF here.
Yeah, he doesn't have many points in mana burn though, so I don't think he's going to be able to bring down the Shadow Fiend in one combo. He's going to need some support. He's going to go for it, but yeah, the mana burn doesn't do much damage and brings Alex Babies low, but he doesn't have anything left in the tank and he's going to be forced to retreat out.
Yeah, Alex Babies will just bottle up. Oh, yeah, Nyx is in a little bit of trouble here.
He tried to get a Spike Carapace out onto Shadow Fiend there as he went for the raise, but Shadow Fiend actually missed the raise and so remained safe, and the Nyx just TP's out. So all of that and no kills, and the Nyx gets out safe.
Looking at net worth, I definitely see that Perfectionvore is seemingly on top here. Like, they have 4 out of the top 5 network heroes. Like, Storm's on top, but Quap, SF, Morph, and Spiritbreaker all above the Hora Gyro here, so yeah, it's definitely a little bit scary.
And if you look at the net worth graph, you're looking at a total 4K net worth in the favor of Perfectionvore right now, and XP is a much smaller gap. You're only at about 1,000 advantage towards Perfectionvore, but they are still in the lead with those couple kills they have, and you know, I think we can still call this game relatively even though that net worth graph can't it doesn't mean too much at this stage of the game, and there's still a lot left to come from both these drafts, so we'll see it play out. But up on top lane, Dory getting jumped onto the tower, and Duke is going to ulti him. Will he be able to bring him down? We got 2 TPs up here, but Dory is just dodging everything. He gets the Vortex in on the Queen of Pain. Will he be able to bring her down? They glimpse her back, going down, a couple more auto attacks, and they finish off the Queen of Pain. Looks like Duke will walk away from that, but the teleport rotations are good, and they get a good high-value kill on the Storm Spirit to boot, so well played there.
Yeah, a Storm just gaining more and more net worth here. He's probably going to have his Bloodstone here in the next, 3-5 minutes. So
is Bloodstone the right choice, though? I mean, Bloodstone is very popular as an item on Storm Spirit, but is going for it first better over going for the Orchid, because you know there's an Orchid coming on the Queen of Pain. Like, it's been pretty much revealed as she bought the Oblivion Staff before the death there, so, Storm, I think in this scenario, like, he's going to go for the Bloodstone, but the other option is to just go for the Eul so that you don't have to deal with that silence, and it looks like he's just going to continue trucking on towards that Bloodstone, and it's...
Yeah. We got a charge coming down on him from Spirit Breaker, and Morphlin's kind of stalking him a bit, but with this Observer Ward for the Radiant, Storm probably knows what's up if Alex is not backing away to farm the wave. So
yeah, Night Stalker flying in here as well, though. They're looking for blood, and actually he uses the Void on a creep to snag that last hit, and they're just going to back out of that, but looks like it could have turned bloody there for a second.
Mm-hmm. Getting back to the Bloodstone, with the amount of brawling that's going on this game, I think it's kind of inevitable that Storm's going to be picking up some Bloodstone charges. He hasn't died too much this game. He only has 1 death to his name and 3 kills and 4 assists, so if he anticipates that the game will kind of move into, or stay rather, a brawly kind of phase, then picking up the Bloodstone I think isn't too bad. But I could definitely see like a Eul's or Orchid working for him as well.
I think later on in the game he's going to want a Lincoln Sphere, but for now he's just going to go for the Bloodstone, and I guess he'll just deal with the silence. If he gets silenced, like whatever, walk around for a few seconds, wait for it to wear off, and then go back to wreaking havoc. So we'll see how that plays out, but I think the Co-op Orchid is going to make a big difference in this game once she picks it up.
Yeah, and she's also getting pretty close. She's about 1,000 or so gold away, right? Or no, Oblivion Staff and the recipe.
For the Oblivion Staff, and then 700 for the recipe, I believe.
Yeah, 775, I think.
Yeah, so small ways to go. 1,300-ish gold.
Yeah, Morphling's doing a pretty good job farming up as well. He's got his Perseverance, so he may be looking to get that kind of standard Lincoln's build up. And I think that'll be useful versus the Storm's Vortex, and also the Glimpse.
I think the biggest thing here is, well, A, the Glimpse, and then B, the Night Stalker silence. That silence is so deadly at nighttime. I mean, 8 seconds against a Morphling who relies on strength gain to stay alive in teamfights. I mean, if you manage to get that silence off before he begins strength gaining, Alex is dead. There's no question about it. He's just done. So that's definitely something to look out for. But yeah, as well, the Glimpse works really, really well against Morphling just because you can glimpse him right back into that silence once again, and there's not much he can do to get out from it at that point. He can't replicate, he can't waveform, he can't use any of his abilities to keep himself alive, so... Well, yeah, the Lincoln's is definitely the right choice for him.
Mm-hmm. It's very interesting in this game, the amount of kind of map presence and the fact that we don't have any mid towers being taken down. Both teams are very like secluded on their side of the map, even though the game has been very brawly right now.
Yeah, I think they've kind of wanted to take a step away from that brawling down on the bottom lane there. They just kind of all backed up and they said, okay, we actually need items now, and so both teams at the same time just decided, all right, we're gonna farm. We'll see what the other team does. But Night Stalker's coming up here onto the top lane, and he goes for the short TP anyways, and they want to bring down this pop. It doesn't look like they even need the Night Stalker, as Dory just goes to town on the Queen of Pain and finishes her off. So Played there. Good kill, and that'll hinder the progress on the Orchid once again. She did get the other Oblivion Staff, but she's still got that recipe to pick up, and Storm will have a slight net worth advantage for a while.
Yeah, Storm finishes up his Bloodstone and is probably just going to send it on over with the Courier once it's done delivering Nyx, an item. I'm not sure what it brought him. But pressure in the mid lane. We have Gyro's Call Down coming down, and both teams kind of almost disengaging a little bit.
Disengaging? I don't think so, as the Spirit Breaker goes for a run away, and it looks like he is going to escape here, as does the Shadow Fiend, who sneaks himself back into the trees, and they're going to exchange the Kotl for the Disruptor in the end. That was a really, really insane fight to only have 2 supports die, but yeah, very, very small change in terms of golden net worth, but this tier 1 tower is going to feel some pressure as Perfectionvore got the Radiant side mid tower, and now it's going to get turned right back around on them as they lose their mid. So kind of what happened on bottom, just brawls both ways, but this time it ends up even in, well, I mean, I think late game comes out slightly on top of that specific brawl, but game still holds pretty damn even on the whole.
Yeah, it was weird. It looked to me that they were disengaging as soon as Disruptor's ult went down, and it kind of ended up that way, that both teams kind of scattered after those 2 supports went down, which was not what it really looked like for a little bit. It looked like both teams were going to brawl it out to the death there, but in the end we only have the 2 supports going down.
Yeah, and Dory actually just barely too slow to find that Shadow Fiend who was farming up that small camp there. But anyways, down on bottom lane, we got a bit of an engagement in the jungle here. Morphling goes for a waveform over 3, and gonna stand around. He's looking like he wants to run away. 4 heroes in from the Radiant side, but the Queen of Pain ultimate is good. Can she bring down Horror before she goes down? Doesn't look like it, and she goes for a blink away, will bottle up, and now Spirit Breaker is in there, but gets silenced out of his ultimate, and presumably keeps himself alive for now. Queen of Pain gonna have to blink out, and Alex Baby can't really contribute much there, so they get a good 2 for 1, and a couple of their heroes limping away with below half health.
The Gyro was actually denied there, so...
Oh, was he?
It's actually a 2 for 0, kind of, technically.
Yeah,
great play by the, I think it was the Nyx Disruptor, or Nyx.
Yeah. So Nyx gets a deny on the Dagger Gyro, and wow. Incredibly well played. I think... the ability to deny somebody when the Stifling Dagger is on them is just, it's crazy. That dot doesn't do all that much, but, you know, it applies for so damn long that you give the enemy a lot of opportunity to deny if you just kind of throw it out willy-nilly. Sentry Ward goes down on top as Kronosh realizes there's a Nyx assassin standing right on top of him. Nyx tries to go for the kill, but the Shadow Fiend's there to do the damage and finish off Nyx before he can finish off the Kotl. So good pick off there. Perfectionvore dropped down a lucky ward, and Nyx ends up in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, that's the reveal of the Orchid on Quap 2 though. So Perfectionvore lose the kind of surprise factor of the Orchid, but I think it's a worthy cause to pick off a hero with its reveal. Good placement by the Kotl of that
Storm's
sentry.
going to have to be very careful in the next team fight as to where he goes and what he does, because if he dives in too far and gets Orchided, that could just be the end of him. But top tier 1 going to face some pressure here, and Perfectionvore looking for a little bit of extra tower gold. Spirit Breaker going to teleport down to bottom, going to try to deflect the pressure there, but Storm, oh man, good deny there. He stuns out Dory and then gets the deny. We got the, that was a Shadow Fiend that teleported, and not much he can do there as Storm zips away to the jungle, and he's just going to farm up then head back to base, I think.
Yeah, a little bit of a long zip for Storm. I would have liked to see him maybe just zip across the river and then proceed to farm, because he spent a lot of mana and could probably be farming, but I guess that farm's going to Gyro now too. So,
we got Nyx Assassin, Invis up on mid. Is there going to be another lucky Sentry Ward drop? No sentries available, and good mana burn there with the Deg, and they bring down the Queen of Pain, so solo kill there by Lokarn, and I think he's happy with what he got there. Good glimpse sends a Spirit Breaker back down the river, and Lokarn going to have to walk out as TP did get cancelled, but he is just fine for now.
Knight Stalker on the side here may be looking for initiation, but no, he drops on back, and it's going to be the Dire that initiates. Storm zips in, and the Disruptor ult's doing good damage also with the kinetic field, holding the Spirit Breaker in place, allowing Storm to go in and lands the Static Remnant and takes down the Spirit Breaker as well.
Yeah, Morphling
two
jumps
for one
out to
trade.
a replicate on the bottom lane, so he keeps himself safe, but well played there, and yeah, the Static Storm was really, really good. This Disruptor play has been on point, keeps the Spirit Breaker from going anywhere, and he gets picked off as well.
This is like, these fights have been so good for the Storm. He's up to 11 Bloodstone charges at, 24, 25 minutes. So he's getting a lot done with it. Quap just blinked in. He's going to jump onto the Quap, but Quap's got her Orchid, so I think she'll be okay here.
Maybe.
Storm's
well,
going to...
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, if she reveals herself again and that Orchid is off, he's going to jump her and kill her for sure, but no, that's fine. And I think this Storm is off to a good enough start now that it really doesn't matter that Queen of Pain has the Orchid, because he's just kind of interrupted for a few seconds in every team fight. The Queen of Pain really needs her team to back her up and do the damage if she Orchid Storm. She doesn't have the damage on her own to bring him down, and that's a really important factor. And Storm is now going for his own Orchid, which means that if he jumps in on the Queen of Pain, she is going to be, roasty toasty's done.
So Quap's going to have to watch her blinks a little bit more closely now and kind of definitely be map aware of where that Storm is. We do have the Darkness coming out. Presumably he's going to consider chasing the Coddle and the Morphling down the river, but they decide to go against it, and Radiance groups up in their jungle. I don't think they have a smoke on them though, so maybe they're just going to look to re-engage bottom on the Morphling in the team. But Dire setup, they've got their heroes backing up the farming Morphling, so...
Yeah, and this is actually interesting. They pop the Lincolns on the Morphling and then silence him right as he starts strength gaining, so he ends up spending half his mana pool going full strength and then back over to full Agis. So Coddle gets his mana back up, but he was kind of in a bit of a sticky situation as he was left with a little too much of one thing. But anyways, now the engagement breaks out. This Coddle is toast. He gets finished off there. They're looking for the Shadow Fiend. He BKBs and TPs, and there's nothing in the world that can stop him. And so he gets out of that. But, ooh, Spirit Breaker down in the trees. Doesn't look like they're going to check it, but if they had seen him running around, they might have known he was down there. And, yeah, Spirit Breaker going to get out. He heads back to base. And that'll be it.
Morphling is... decided to morph his agility now to farm up, so he's pretty flimsy, but with Coddle backing him up, he's not going to have any problems. In that last team fight, he actually replicated up to the top lane to like farm for a little bit, and then immediately TP'd back down bottom. Yeah. So it was kind of an interesting play there by the Morphling. I'm not sure if it was very effective usage of his time, but maybe he just saw the cooldown of Morph coming down and was like, oh, I better get up there to farm a little bit.
Yeah.
If Shadow Fiend shows himself, Storm might do a long zip onto him here in the top lane.
Yeah, his BKB is on cooldown from his teleport at bottom, so he could be in a lot of trouble, but doesn't look like that's going to happen. Storm walking back over towards mid, and pressure coming in on the bottom lane as Perfectionvore. They're kind of threatening it, but they don't quite have their full lineup there. Shadow Fiend's on his way, so they don't want to commit quite yet.
Orchid's now complete on the Storm, so he's just got that extra level of intimidation factor and power in these team fights now, able to silence out the Coddle or SF, or probably the Quap is who he's going to use it on after she blinks in. Yeah. But here comes the fight. Morphling's going to waveform in and go on the Gyro, who gets off his call down. Oh, great Disruptor Ults, holding down and holding in the Quap, who may just drop. She's so low. She's able to blink out, but the Disruptor, oh, down to 31 HP. Storm, in the meantime, is going on the Spirit Breaker, who charges him and takes him down, and he dies. So, great fight for Perfectionvore so far, but presumably it's not done. He comes on to this Shadow Fiend, he's whacking him away. Disruptor lands the glimpse and pulls him back a little bit more. Bear charges the Night Sucker and takes him down. Storm with the long zip in. He wants to fight. Take it over. I'm losing breath.
Storm going in for Duke and does find him after the fight, but Jesus, what a scrappy aftermath there as we end up with heroes on both sides. And I mean, that's kind of the nature of the pickups we've seen so far. I mean, we saw the Morphling jump all the way over the fight. We saw the Queen of Pain blink over the fight, and then we saw Storm come in over the fight. And so we ended up with this weird kind of cores versus supports as the Disruptor and Night Stalker and Gyro were stuck back here fighting against the Queen of Pain and the Morphling, while the Spirit Breaker, the Coddle, and the Shadow Fiend were stuck back here fighting against the Storm Spirit and the Nyx Assassin. So it was a really weird segmented fight, but in the end it came out pretty damn even. I think either time that team started to pull ahead in that fight, somebody else just zipped in and brought it back. But I'm curious, did Storm get an instant respawn off his Bloodstone, or did he buy back?
I don't think he bought back. Yeah. If we look at the buybacks, whichever weird button that is.
That would be I. But yeah, Storm still has buyback. Yeah, no buybacks are on cooldowns, so that would mean that there were none spent. Oh, so I guess the Queen of Pain just survived that fight. I thought she had died.
She TP'd out with 31 hit points right here. The Disruptor Art was holding her down right here, but she just barely escaped. I think Coddle got off his mech, or who is the mech? SF has the mech. He was able to heal her up, and she just survived. The Disruptor tick of his last Thunder Strike, not quite doing the damage he was hoping for.
Yeah, I gotta commend you, man. That was a hard fight to commentate, as like I said, everything was happening everywhere. But Dory goes in on the mid lane looking for Kronosh. A couple of attacks later, he gets himself a kill. That was just a Coddle being out of position, and good pick there by Dory. He's gonna get charged, and there's the Orchid. Can they bring him down in time before that Orchid wears off, though? They're gonna cast off the Queen of Pain ultimate, and he does fall to the Orchid burn. That damage is absolutely huge, and Storm goes down.
Yeah, I think it's 30%.
I think it's 30% of the damage dealt. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, 30% of the damage dealt to the hero is applied at the end of the Orchid duration. So,
which is huge with like Sonic Wave, right?
Yeah. I mean that. What's that? A 600 damage nuke? Yeah, 575, and. It's not. Oh, it is pure damage before you get an Ags. It's just not magic immunity piercing, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's 575 pure damage, which is that's amplified by Orchid, right? Yeah, that's all damage is amped. So yeah, that's huge. As they pop off a smoke, and it looks like they want to go in for Roche, maybe? No, they're going through the jungle first. The Spirit Breaker is hiding in the Roche pit, but they're going to find a Night Stalker. Oh, and he's got a gem. If they bring him down, this will be so huge. But the Disruptor ult is good. The Storm Spirit's jumping in, looking for the Queen of Pain. Bring her down. Quick and easy there. Looking for Kronosh now, but he's got that mischance applied to him. And he's out of mana to zip away in the Shadow Fiend. It's going to work. So both enemies... int carries are both brought down. Hora trying to run away from this fight, but he cannot get out. The Shadow Fiend raises are good, and they find themselves a Gyrocopter. Looking forward for more. They're looking for Lokarn. They go for a charge, but he actually gets stunned out by a mana burn. So the Spirit Breaker not going to find a kill there. And 3-for-1 exchange as Perfectionvore just hunt down their prey, charging forward through the enemy jungle, and they find themselves a couple extra kills off the back of that engagement. So really well played by them. They almost had that gem on the Night Stalker, but unfortunately they were interrupted by that Disruptor ulti and had to go for other targets.
Yeah, Save living up to his name. He, like, silenced with his Static Storm, held the enemy heroes in place with the Connect Field, and then Glimmer caped the Night Stalker to keep him alive in that fight. Like, absolutely incredible plays by the Disruptor. And look at how they're benefiting. They immediately start counter-warding with the gem, which is very valuable. Oh, Storm zips in, but is able to get out, so nothing's going to happen there.
And not only do they have the gem, but they have the Aghanims completed. It presumably has completed that item, which means that all of this map control that Perfectionvore has gained by dropping these wards. Look, before this fight, look at where the wards were. There was a ward right here. There was a ward. Well, there is a ward down here, and there were sentries all up through here where they had fought. So Perfectionvore definitely had control of this jungle, and that's all going to go away in a second. And the map's going to be black for them for quite a while.
Yeah, and map vision is pretty huge in this game when you have like a Storm Spirit and a Quap, right? Both those heroes very relying on having vision, knowing when they can abuse an out of position hero. I'm just gonna step away for like 1 second.
No worries. A wonderful codecaster here lives right by a set of train tracks, so every once in a while we gotta get big and it can interrupt both our team games and our broadcasts, but it'll be me solo for a while that train goes and zips on past it. But anyways, fight gonna break out here on the top lane as the Spirit Breaker goes in for the Night Stalker. They get the silence out on him and they bring him down. The gem is on the deck. That is huge for Perfectionvore. They needed to get that kill on the Night Stalker and they find it. So they're gonna get this tier 2 tower, and on top of that they get themselves a gem of True Sight. So that is a huge swing their way, and things are starting to look ugly for We Got Late Game. Like I said early on, they were definitely favored early in the game as they had they had the higher seeding in this tournament. Perfectionvore barely sneaking themselves into the playoffs, but We Got Late Game starting to look like they're in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I'm back. Standing Allowance showing off that Ethereal Blade. Storm is going to zip it and go on the Morphling, but he's able to strength gain out of it. Queen of Pain, BKBs, and screams and takes down the Night Stalker. BKBs everywhere. Gyro used to call down Storm's body, is back and comes back into the fight. Stab Storm holding down the SF, but he's going to be glimpsed back as he tries to TP out. He's held in place, but no one's going on him. Yes. Oh, Storm's going to be able to clean that up and take him down. I think this is gem returned back to the side of Late Game.
Yeah, so 4 heroes in exchange for 5. They lose a tier 3 tower, but they defend their racks, and they get their gem of True Sight back. So We Got Late Game are definitely back in this, and well, I mean, I don't think they were ever out of it, but they've definitely found themselves a little bit of ground to walk on here, and they're going to be able to regain some of that map control that I said that they were going to gain a few minutes ago.
Yeah, did cost them a Storm buyback, so I guess that's 2 for 4 there, I think was the ending kill score. I know Night Stalker also died, so probably a 3 for 4, a little bit closer to that.
On bottom, Alex is looking to be in a little bit of trouble. It looks like he's... Oh no, never mind, he's fine. Tricky plays there with the Replicant. He replicates the Disruptor and then sends that illusion up through here while he walks the other direction. And as Storm zips on him, he just jumps away and he's totally fine. So well played there.
Morphling is the type of hero where if you die with him, you almost always could have prevented your death by using your replicate ability or your morph ability. So nighttime's going to come on, and this is going to definitely give Late Game the opportunity to kind of get back in this game, maybe try to take a little bit more map control or take another good team fight, because they just held there and that gave them a little bit of swing, but they need to do something with this game. Right now they've just been defending. They need to win a team fight and take objectives, because right now Perfectionvore is all their tier 2 towers standing, and that means that their racks aren't really in a position to be threatened. They've got their glyph up as well, so I definitely think the pressure is on Late Game right now to do something, because the side of Perfectionvore is getting quite scary, and they can all farm items. Like Morphling can farm, like Spirit Breaker gets scary as he picks up more and more items.
Anyway, I want to talk about the pressure that's been applied to this Gyrocopter. I mean, he has been having a really, really rough game. I mean, they had... he got thrown out of his lane early on, then he got killed solo up in the top lane by himself, and then every team fight he's come in, he just hasn't been able to find the right groove, and a lot of that's been because he doesn't have a BKB, and he's finally coming up on having enough gold for it.
They know.
Oh, this could be trouble. They're in the Roche pit, but Perfectionvore knows it, and will this fight turn into anything? The Black King Bar goes off, and they're charging in on Hora. Is he going to get brought down before he finishes his BKB again? Oh no, that would be disastrous. In the Roche pit there, Disruptor gets brought down, so no silence is going to get thrown out in the middle of this fight. Storm Spirit is trying to do work, trying to bring down that Queen of Pain. Queen of Pain is on the back lines. Yeah, he does buy the recipe, so Hora's going to get his BKB no matter what, but Dory going crazy in this fight, but ends up having to suicide as he gets hit by a fully charged
Illuminate.
SF ulti. Oh yeah, Illuminate as well. But yeah, he gets bursted down, and Storm drops a suicide, and he is running low on Bloodstone charges there. He's only got 4 left, and his respawn time is back up over a minute, so not much going for him there. And Gyrocopter now has the BKB, so maybe he can stand in these fights, but I think it might be a little bit too little too late, as their base is getting threatened, and the Spirit Breaker is starting to get fat. I mean, Spirit Breaker can really shut down a BKB carry if he gets on him in the right you know, in the right way. But anyways, engagement breaking out on the top lane as the E-Blade gets thrown out onto the Night Stalker. Alex is just going to use the opportunity to smack away at the racks, though, and he's going to have to morph back a little bit of his agi as he ended up going full strength amidst that silence again. But racks are going to go down, and there's not too much late game can do about it. They're going to throw out some spells, try to harass it out a little bit, but they can definitely not engage this. And Nyx goes for a blink forward, but that could be a mistake. Yeah, no, he gets away from that, and that'll be it. So Perfectionvore walks away with his clean set of racks, and they're happy with the exchange they got there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if the Gyro's BKB is going to change too much, because there's a lot of right-click damage coming out from side of Perfectionvore. Like, SF is getting pretty big. He's got a Sheep already. He only has the Sanch and Yasha. That's really kind of increasing his right-click damage. Morphling has, you know, an E-Blade, so again, that's magical, but the right-click of the side of Perfectionvore is definitely nothing to scoff at getting near the end of this game, and Gyro's only got about 2k HP, so hopefully they're able to do something, kind of pull this game back and get a good team fight. But
and we're seeing a Sheep stick up on the Shadow Fiend as well. That's another thing we didn't mention, but that's going to do work shutting down this. Well, I think the Storm Spirit primarily, but if the Storm Spirit's taken care of, the Gyro as well. Roshan gets threatened here, and I don't think there's any way, presumably, it can counter this. So Perfectionvore going to take themselves an easy Rosh, and that goes over to the Morphling, so he is even more unkillable than he was before. And looks like bottom lane's going to face some pressure.
Yeah, they're probably thinking, okay, if we take this tier 2 channel...
Dory, he gets sheeped up, they're going to pop the Orchid, and that's going to be the end of him. Wow, he was just up too far, especially knowing they just got the Roshan. That was just sloppy plays.
And he has no buyback.
Yeah, this is going to have to be a 4v5 fight, or it's just going to be another set of racks, and judging by the fact that the Gyro's just farming Ancients, I think they're just going to let the racks go.
Yeah, they're going to pop the Glyph, try to buy some time here, but like this looks to be a do-or-die situation for the Dire late game. Disruptor gets blown up a little bit as Morphling comes in, but maybe he overstepped a little bit. Oh, but he gets the Strength Force off and he stays alive. SF doing big damage. Nyx Assassin goes down, but he immediately buys back as Perfectionvore goes back onto the racks, but Disruptor gets down a good stack swarm and no BKB, so he's holding the SF and the Morphling in place. Horus saved by the Disruptor as well as he pops a Glimmer Tape, and the Night Stalker goes down to the Spirit Breaker and right click of the SF. Meanwhile, UnfuckDodo on the Quap is taking the racks, and that's a free racks for them.
Yeah, I think we're getting pretty close to a GG call here. Late game is just coming apart, and despite their best efforts to make this defense happen, they've just had a couple sloppy pickoffs that have resulted in some unfavorable fights, and you know, that last fight especially, seeing Dory get caught out on the bottom lane, that was probably the difference between a healthy fight at the racks and just a free set of barracks. So we're going to see another fight breaking out here. The buyback on the Storm Spirit is going to equal a couple kills for him, but is it really going to matter with this Morphling standing strong, morphing back to Agi, and he actually does get the Queen of Pain and oh, no, he doesn't get to TP out. Morphling's there, and a full 9 men dead. And Shadow Fiend just buys back. They want to finish this game. He's going to buy the boots of travel. Yeah, there we go. And GG well played is called by We Got Late Game. So game 1 goes the way of Perfectionvore. Impressive.
Yeah, excellent play by them. I definitely think that the Night Stalker pick didn't quite work out the way they want to, and that Gyro just got shut down hard this game. You got to give it up to late game though for putting on a good fight, and that Storm did a lot of work in that early to mid game, but in the end it just didn't matter as Perfectionvore, I guess, out carried and out farmed them.
Yeah. Alright, well, we're going to throw to an overlay, get the next lobby set up. So, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is a best-of-3 series, so we're going into a game number 2 and possibly a game number 3 following that. So, definitely check it out. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been a blast, and it will continue to be as we head into game number 2. Stick around. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back! This is the UGC League Season 4 first round of the playoffs. Now we've got game number 1 going to Perfectionvore. They played a fantastic game, were very, very aggressive, shut down LateGame's carry, and well to deal with the storm and the rest of the threats that were there. So, really, really aggressive play. They played fantastically, and they've taken one game for themselves. Now, this is a best of 3. Winner of this series will progress on to the second round of the playoffs. Now, LateGame came into this in the very first seed. They were first place in the entire tournament in the top tier of the UGC League, so they are definitely a top tier team. But having taken that one game away from them, they are now facing elimination in this game. So definitely a dangerous one for them. They're going to really want to think about their draft and make sure things go their way. Now, we're going to be jumping into game number 2 in just a second here. We've got one last player loading in. But for now, I'll throw it back over to the game screen and introduce you to my wonderful co-caster who broadcasted with me in game number 1. His name is Will, and he will be joining us here in just a second. There we go. You're unmuted. How you doing there, buddy?
I'm doing very well. I'm excited for this game 2. Ready to see LateGame step up their game and take the fight to Perfectionvore.
Yeah, me as well. I mean, like I said, They are definitely not a team to take this lying down, but it just looked like they got outplayed in that first game. That they tried their hardest. They had a lot of even brawls, but when it came down to it, the late game did not go their way, and they definitely did not have it. So. Perfectionvore just bringing them down, doing what they needed to do, and now we're into the second game, and this could be the end of the series.
5 seconds remaining.
Yeah, it's definitely a hard place for LateGame to be in, to be on the verge of elimination, but I'm sure they'll give it all and they'll put up a good fight. We do also have a stand-in coming in for Perfectionvore in replacement of Alex, I think. So, depending on...
Yeah, he apparently... According to him, they had a PC crash or something like that, so they're going to have a stand-in. So.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
But the standard Wisp ban coming in from Perfectionvore, I think they also banned this out in the first phase of last game as well, so
yeah,
maybe they're afraid of the Wisp and the global presence, but could just be a standard ban versus we got late game.
Yeah, and I mean... Once again, I think these are higher-tiered players who know how to play with a Wisp, so seeing it banned out is not all that surprising. The Shadow Fiend is a ban that got through last game, and Perfectionvore played it really, really well, so that Shadow Fiend is not going to be making an appearance in this game, but that does leave an opening for a couple others. The Pugna and the Leshrac were both banned out in the last game, and we'll see if they make it through this one. I think one of the two will probably make it through. The Pugna more likely than the Lesh, but we'll see what these bans are, as Perfectionvore is dipping into their reserve time a little bit, trying to think about what they want to ban out here.
Reserve time.
And again, the Abaddon ban. Very interesting. I was a little bit surprised by the SSF ban. I think Alex Babies played it well, but I definitely saw him missing like 1 or 2 raises for sure throughout the game. And I know that's not the biggest factor, 1 or 2 raises throughout the game, but I didn't think it was an outstanding SF carried them game. So I was a little bit surprised by the SF ban, but
yeah.
again, they did all right with it.
I'm actually looking over at We Got LateGame's Dota Buff profile. And the last 2 competitive games they played before, obviously, the last one, were against Perfectionvore, and Abaddon was picked twice in that series, once by Perfectionvore and once by We Got LateGame themselves. So perhaps this was just something that kind of came out of the last series that they played and that they don't want to deal with again. And I'm not seeing any particularly odd strategies here. I mean, the Abaddon was played with a Leshrac and a Phantom Lancer and a Phoenix, so nothing completely out of the ordinary. No gimmicky Abaddon Weaver, Abaddon Axe or anything lanes. It's just standard Abaddon play. So it looks like these teams just really like the hero and want to, I guess that's why Perfectionvore opted to take it out in the first phase there. But Leshrac is going to make it through the pool and is going to be the first pick. With that Pugna band out, this could be a huge problem.
Yeah, I definitely saw the Pugna ban was like, oh, but Perfectionvore have first pick. You're just giving them the Leshrac there. Like, you ban out a pretty big counter to Leshrac and then just allow the other team to pick it. maybe a little bit of a
10 seconds
missed draft
remaining.
there, but maybe they have something else up their sleeve. And again, they're going to pick up the gyro.
Yeah.
On the side of We Got Late Game, which didn't seem to work out too well for them on Hora, but maybe they're going to commit a little bit more to securing his farm this game and pick a little bit less greedy supports.
Yeah, I mean they are going to run the gyro again, and it didn't work out all that well for him last game. So I'm curious to see how they play it out. But I mean, I think they are going to have to make sure that it has a much more stable lane, because in that last game they were forced to rotate him around a bunch, and they stuck him in a solo lane, and that didn't work, and that aggro tri lane just really messed them up. So I think if they can give the gyro some structure, give him some ability to farm, and give him some supports that can stack for him and stuff, he'll start to accelerate a lot better.
Queen of Pain picked up in the second pick of the first phase for the side of We Got Late Game. I'm not sure how Quap fares against Lesh mid. I've been on the Lesh side and just have spammed out Lightning, and that has seemed to fare me quite well, but maybe Lesh is going to be played in a little bit more of a support role as they pick up a Wind Ranger, which could very well be a mid or off lane.
Yeah, and I'm actually, this kind of makes me think they're going for a one position Wind Ranger, because offlane is not seen all that often, and if it is,
10 seconds
it's usually seen in some sort of a dual lane. So maybe they run that, but I have a feeling we might be looking at a one position Wind Ranger here, just because they've got the Leshrac picked up already, and the Wind Ranger is just so good at locking down, anyone, Queen of Pain especially. I think we could see it.
Yeah, I remember the last time we cast and the Wind Ranger got a quick blink and was just landing those shackles left, right, center, backwards. I swear she had like, I don't know, homing sizzle on that shackle that the one end would find another hero or something. Just outstanding play. So it's definitely a hero they're strong with and comfortable with. So it's exciting to see them pick it up.
Yeah, and they played it mid in that last game that we watched, so definitely curious on how they are going to run this. I mean, who knows? This could even be a support Leshrac, but just the way the meta's been lately and how teams have been playing the Lesh, I have a feeling we're looking at a mid Lesh, and they're going to do something funky with the Wind Ranger. What that is, I don't know, but we will see as the draft continues here.
Bans coming out, we have a Coddle ban on the side of We Got Late Game. And Perfectionvore actually respect ban out the Night Stalker here in the second phase, saying no, presumably no Night Stalker for you this game. We don't want to be silenced, and we super don't want to be silenced when we ban out the silencer as well.
Yeah, and I mean, a good couple bans there. I mean, like I said, the Night Stalker is just a specialty of presumably, and I think the only time they really don't pick that hero is when it gets banned out. I mean, it's just so potent, and they've practiced it so much that they really know how to utilize that hero. And the silencer as well, I mean, it just works well against their draft. It really messes up the Queen of Pain, and no one likes playing against the silencer. It's terribly obnoxious.
I'm trying to anticipate what they're going to pick in the next phase, like maybe a Phoenix or something that kind of really relies on getting off a few key abilities, and they don't want to have a silencer. Like, I was thinking Storm, but they have already got a Lesh and Wind Ranger, so I don't think Storm's going to be an option for Perfectionvore here. But what do you think about the silences?
I don't know. I think I think the silencer ban is more just kind of a blanket, we don't want to deal with this hero type ban. But you did mention the Phoenix, and I think the Phoenix is very likely to show up here. Wind Ranger cannot focus fire the egg. It is not targetable with focus fire. So, and I believe since the egg becomes a new unit when it's cast, like it's separate from Phoenix, that Wind Ranger's focus fire on a Phoenix will not carry over to the egg if it's popped off. So I think it works out really well against both Leshrac and Wind Ranger, because Leshrac can't do shit to it, and the Wind Ranger she can do it, but it's going to take a lot more effort than just simply R-clicking it. So Phoenix is a possibility, but we're going to see an Omni Knight pickup here by We Got Late Game, and I'm kind of curious what they've got in mind with this.
This is to secure their Gyro's farm, I feel. Like, Gyro had a hard game last game, but if you got Repel and you've got your heal, purification offered for the gyro, then like his laning phase gets a lot easier when he's able to be confident with Omni supporting him. And Gyro can do a lot of zoning himself with his range, so I think the Omni pick is here to help out the Gyro. I'm not anticipating an off-lane Omni or anything.
I mean, what this does as well is it allows your Gyrocopter to get a later BKB than he normally would, which I think he really wants to do. And in that last game, he kind of tried it. He went for Treads, Akia, Drums, and then he went for a Sanjin Yasha before he even started building his BKB. And I mean, we were calling out how close he was to his BKB in the last 2 fights of the entire match. So, you know, I think this game, well, A, his farm should be a little better than it was last game, but B, he's going to have the repel to keep him sustained through those early fights. So, yeah, he's not going to face as many deaths as he did in the last game, and hopefully it'll help him out as he progresses towards his items in the mid game. But Witch Doctor pickup, I do like that quite a bit as well. I mean, it doesn't fare as well against the Wind Ranger, but all of these other heroes can can get eaten alive by that Death Ward if they're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, they do have a lot to cancel the Death Ward though. Like Lesh has his stun, Wind Ranger has Shackle, and she can also just focus fire him down. Spirit Breaker has charge and his ult, so Wind Ranger's going to have to be very tactical with his placement of his Death Ward. But I think the Witch Doctor is also a hero that does quite well in stacking. He's got long range, he's got pretty good base movement speed, also is pretty good at zoning in lanes, so this is going to create a lot of space for Gyro, because like the Witch Doctor isn't going to go take stacks, or the Omni Knight maybe will try to farm up a stack or 2 with purification, but I think this draft is really focused around the Gyro, unlike the last one, which was a kind of combination of Nyx and Night Stalker just trying to create space on the map, which didn't work.
Yeah. And, I mean, the Spirit Breaker says aggression, and it said aggression last game, but, like you said, we got late game's draft was a lot more about kind of just creating a mess around the map, and they didn't get a chance to do that because the fight was brought to them far too early. So, we'll see how it works out this game. I think we got late game are prepared for the aggression that's going to come towards them with the Wind Ranger and the Spirit Breaker, and, you know, I think we are more likely to see that one position Wind Ranger that I mentioned now that we've seen the Spirit Breaker picked up. I think he's a traditional offlane hero that, which, I mean, if we're going by a traditional tri-lane draft, we are going to see one more support here by Perfectionvore. They could also put the Wind Ranger and the Spirit Breaker together and then go Ancient Apparition +1 down on the bottom lane, but that's again kind of a weird way to do it and might end up blowing up in their face if that safe lane goes well for We Got Late Game. So we'll see how it plays out. But the Morphling is banned out here by We Got Late Game. Going to make sure that doesn't get taken out by Perfectionvore as they run it to great effect in that last game. And I mean, he's kind of a hero that we really didn't get a chance to talk about a lot. But you know, he's so elusive in those fights, stayed alive for so long, and he just gathered up so much gold, whether it was from assists or kills, that he just ended up in such a rich position at the end of the game, and that E-Blade was doing work. He just couldn't die. It was impressive. So that's not going to be making an appearance this game.
Yeah, the Morphling pick for them last game took a lot of damage off other heroes. He soaked up so much damage that other heroes were able to get off their abilities, which really benefited his team. But in this game, the Aya pick is probably one of the best support picks I could think of for Perfectionvore. Like, the Ice Black is going to inhibit the purification and the healing from Witch Doctor Voodoo Restoration. But late game says, you know what, we're going to team fight. We're going to pick up a Brewmaster here. This could be an off-lane Brood, or Brewmaster, not Brood. But yeah, this is definitely a very team fight oriented lineup now for the team of We Got Late Game. They've got the Split, they've got the Scream, they've got the Call Down, they have Purification, they have Heals, they have Voodoo Restoration. I think We Got Late Game has had enough of the pressure being put on them. Just going to turn around and try to bring it back on Perfectionvore for this game.
Yeah, and okay, so there we go. We're going to see the Juggernaut. So this is either going to be a 4-position Wind Ranger, either just completely supporting, or she's going to go off to the off lane with Spirit Breaker, which I think is the more likely call. I think they're going to put the duo off lane, just try to abuse that Gyrocopter a bit, throw some power shots at him, maybe get a charge off if they're feeling saucy, and just go ham up on that top lane. And meanwhile, the Ancient Apparition and the Juggernaut should be fine together, as the slow on the AA is more than enough to get the Juggernaut in spin range and get him doing a lot of damage to whoever is on the off lane, probably the Brew. So I think they've got a decent lane set up here, but it is kind of sketchy. I mean, if we got late game get off to a good start, they might be able to turn a lot of these fights around. Perfectionvore is going to need to hit hard and hit early to be able to do much in this game.
Yeah, just before we switch overlays, I think Perfectionvore is still deciding how they're going to run their Wind Ranger here.
Yeah.
But, oh, no, they had to disconnect, that's why.
Disconnecto. Yeah, no one's saying nothing in chat, but, yeah, so we're going to have a little bit of a break as we wait for whoever it is to get back in the game here, but, yeah. We'll see how...
Should be interesting. Do you really think they're going to run Wind Ranger in the offlane?
I think so. I think she's too weak as a support to have in the 4 position role. Like I don't see any scenario in which she plays 4 position and gets enough gold or experience to do anything this game. Like I just don't think it'll be enough. And in the offlane, since you got a Spirit Breaker's going to want to roam around the map. He's going to want to get pickoffs. He's going to be away from his lane. So I think that's going to be Wind Ranger's opportunity to kind of secure herself some farms, secure herself some levels. And, the two of them together sharing XP isn't a bad thing. And once Duke hits 3 or 4, he can just kind of roam around, charge non-stop, and Wind Ranger can kind of take over that safe lane. So I really think that's going to be the pick. They might run the 4-position Wind Ranger, but once again, I really don't think that it's going to be enough for Perfectionvore to do anything with later on in the game.
Yeah, especially with Alex Babies picking up the Leshrac, that seems to indicate to me that he's taking the Lesh mid instead of running it as a support role and having the Wind Ranger mid instead. So yeah, I definitely see what you're saying now, and having the Wind Ranger in that offlane with that Spirit Breaker, who will be more free to run about and create some havoc on the
other
map.
option that we didn't really talk about was last game they ran an aggro tri-lane with the Spirit Breaker. So what if they went for the Spirit Breaker, the Ancient Apparition, and the Juggernaut together towards the off lane and stuck Wind Ranger on a solo safe?
They could do that. I think the defensive tri-lane of late game is just too strong right now, though.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, they do have a really, really good defensive try, but that said, I mean, there is a lot of havoc to be wreaked with that Juggernaut. I mean, the heals that Witch Doctor can provide, and even the stuns, won't really matter if that Juggernaut's spinning. And, all you need to do is lay down an Ice Vortex or 2, and Jug is going to get that full spin off. So, who knows? I mean, it could work out. Maybe if they get a good charge, the stun might be enough. But yeah, they do have a really strong defensive try.
Looks like we're having a few server issues here.
I don't want to remake. Bummer. Okay, so we had somebody disconnect and they couldn't reconnect, so we're going to drop this game really quick, remake the lobby, and alright, so let's change this to all pick. Everything else is good.
Cheats are off.
Bummer. Yep. Yeah, I gotta make sure the cheats are off. Come on, let's do it. Where are they? I picked techies, right? Alright, so here we go. Let's do it! Whee.
Hopefully everyone loads in alright.
Yep. Alrighty, let's go.
Oh, he loaded. It's good. $20 left.
Yeah.
And he loaded last game, so it'll be all good.
We should be fine. Should be fine. Come on! Oh man,
Load.
I hate this stuff. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
There he is. He's in.
Ah, it's good. All right, let's do it. Let's do cast some Dota. Let's cast some make games fun Dota. Everybody pick hero of game Dota. Come on, yeah, let's go.
Wind Ranger at your service.
Wind Ranger at your service.
Good. Everyone's got their heroes.
Lock it in,
No
boys.
funny
Let's go.
business.
Come on. Come on.
Lock 'em in.
Come on. Oh, do we just have to wait for it to wind down to 0 anyways?
I'm not certain.
Oh man. It's
Yeah, I
painful.
think everyone has the repick option.
Yeah.
But maybe this long wait will cause some of the teams to do some smoke shenanigans or put on some early
A
pressure.
buddy of
So
mine just messaged me and said that LOL Purple reconnected to the game right after everyone left.
oh no.
Friggin' jokers. Alright, we're to the game. We're to the game. Let's do this. Introductions. Over on the side of We Got Late Game, we've got Dory taking up the mid lane on that Queen of Pain. Presumably going to be taking that Omni Knight on the support role. Save on the Witch Doctor with the wonderful Bonkers the Mad Monkey. Hora on the Gyrocopter, and over on the Brewmaster, we've got Lokarn. Down on the Radiant side, pinging like mad, we've got Alex Babies taking up the Leshrac, Unfuck Dodo on the Juggernaut, Kronosh on the Ancient Apparition, Duke going to be playing on the Spirit Breaker, and $20 in my pocket on the Wind Ranger. Looks like we got some early shenanigans from...
Radiant structures are fortified.
Alright, fortification, cool. Early shenanigans by We Got Late Game. They're moving down into the enemy jungle here. Does this ward block the camp? I believe it does, doesn't it? Spawn box is like here, right?
I believe so.
So I think that ward
30
will block the
seconds to
camp.
battle.
It's going to be a obnoxious one to deward for sure, but yeah, they're going to get
It's a
their...
pretty standard D ward though. You usually put a sentry like right here.
Yeah, that's true.
But they'll probably camp out in the high ground here, but they're going to be in a
Or
little
if
bit.
you're our team, you put the sentry right here and you just block the camp again.
Yeah, I've seen that done once or twice. I play off lane, so I'm not the one doing the dewarding, but
The battle
we're gonna have
begins.
Wind Ranger actually in the solo safe lane here, and the aggro
called
try
it!
as
I
you
called it!
predicted.
I
You
called
called
it!
this.
Yeah. They,
Perfectionvore really leading towards these aggressive triad lanes, and you're right with the slow and the jug spin and the spirit breaker, 100% greater bash, or whatever it is for when you're not playing the hero.
Look at this. Late game has seen this coming, and they end up going for the gyrocopter in the bottom lane. So they're going to run their supports and their carry down on bottom up against these solo Wind Rangers. So we're just going to have a complete and total role reversal here as Lokarn is up in the top lane against this nasty aggro try.
They loop around, try to get in a few right clicks on the Wind Ranger, but she'll be forced back to tower here, and she's out of XP range, and meanwhile the Brewmaster is able to get 1 or 2 creeps worth of experience, and this will be a third one actually. Oh, he even gets the last hit.
Yeah, and I mean, he's going to do really, really well in this lane. I mean, if he just goes for max WE build, just gets 1 value point in Q, and then just goes WE, 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 he's going to do really, really well just because of the mischance. I mean, if you throw that Drunken Haze onto the Juggernaut, and if you catch the Spirit Breaker with it as well, you're not going to be able to take any damage. They're going to miss so much that it's just going to be easy for you to, you know, get up in their faces and do what you want. And all of their damage up here is reliant on auto attacks. I mean, they need the Spirit Breaker bash. I mean, Chilling Touch requires auto attacks. Like, you know, there's not much damage that Perfectionvore has up there that isn't going to come straight from the auto attacks. So, you know, if you max that evasion, this Brewmaster should do fine.
And like even spin requires you to be in auto attack range to apply your damage. Perfectionvore is going to play a little bit of creep equilibrium games and pull Brewmaster's way for him, which is actually probably going to give him his level 3 worth of experience here.
Yeah, that's actually probably favorable for the Brewmaster, as he's getting a bunch of free XP here and denying his creeps from the Juggernaut, because Jug isn't in range here. The Spirit Breaker is in range to pick up this XP, but there's no Jug getting it, so I don't think that was too bad there. But presumably roams over towards mid and throws a heal onto the Queen of Pain, but not too much gonna come out of that. And I gotta say, man, I freaking love this monkey. This is the best cosmetic to come out of this companion this year. And they named him Bonkers, but I renamed mine to Scribbles because I think Scribbles is a better name for the monkey. So he's my Scribbles the monkey.
Well, Scribbles the monkey has been doing a good job encouraging Witch Doctor to deny this Wind Ranger some experience. She's only gotten maybe 1 or 2 creeps worth of experience, and has
she's gonna die.
Actually die to the right clicks.
Oh no, that was just disastrous. I mean, I guess she just overestimated what she had in terms of health there, but those Witch Doctor right clicks are potent as all hell, my friends. You cannot underestimate how much damage a Witch Doctor does. At level 1, he's hitting for 56 base damage with no branches. Like, that is some impressive right click damage for a support. I think he's the second highest in the game. Top lane.
Yeah.
Charge going out on Lokarn. He's got away from his tower, and so they're going to go for a couple swings at him, but he gets back underneath his tower. No problem there, as they just didn't have the lockdown to keep him in place. So.
And the creep wave also is pushed out, which is kind of in the favor of Perfectionvore in terms of being able to kind of zone the Brewmaster, but he's playing vision games, has been hiding here and getting levels, which is great. Charge coming on him by the Spirit Breaker.
Well, this is kind of what I was talking about. Like, what do you do to this Brew? Like, you know, he's up in your faces, you go for a charge, you waste all of your mana on the Ancient Apparition, and you still can't kill him. Like, he just walks away. And he's still healthy. Like, he pops off a salve, but he still had a pretty decent chunk of health after all that, and, you know, he's going to get his experience. He's going to be level 6 within the next minute or two, and it'll be easy for him. But Witch Doctor rotates up here, and he's got a haste rune, so he's not going to be in any trouble right now, but definitely ate a little bit too much damage, and won't be able to man-fight it. But he throws the Coconut anyways, and gets a good stun right as the Jug comes out of that, but the Coconut's going to bounce into the hard camp, which means that no blood going to be spilled there, and Save does end up walking away. So they've got the 2 supports sitting up here with the Brewmaster, as Gyro just kind of 1v1s against that Wind Ranger. Actually sends her back to base, so she's only level 2 at 4 minutes, almost 5, and this Wind Ranger's having a really, really rough time, and Hora is doing much better this game than he was last game.
Oh yeah, definitely big change. Wind Ranger, I'm a big advocate for the Quelling Blade shenanigans on this Radiant safe lane in terms of cutting into the trees, try to get some experience and playing games kind of up here in the tree line. But Wind Ranger this game, I'm not quite sure if this player is just a little bit inexperienced or is not quite fully respecting the damage output.
Yeah, I mean, I
side.
think she'll do fine now. I think that Wind Ranger, that Witch Doctor kill was really just straight up sloppy play. I mean, I've had a kill or two like that in my days. You know, you just kind of think that the support doesn't have as much damage as he does, and then you realize you're in trouble, and it's a little too late for you to do anything about it. So I think you know, I think that was kind of what happened there, but she did get zoned out really heavily by those supports early on and didn't manage to get the experience she needed. So now she's going to get some of that, but she's already pretty far behind, and it's going to be a struggle to get back up to where she needs to be.
How's our mid lane going? I know we've given a lot of attention to the safe lanes, but mid seems to have been going pretty fairly, I think.
Leshrac is dominating the hell out of this lane. 32-11 versus Queen of Pain's 4-10. Queen of Pain is not getting any last hits to speak of, and which one, you know, whatever ones she gets are, what's the word I'm looking for? She's not getting every single creep of every wave. She's not getting them as efficiently as she needs to, and so this Queen of Pain is definitely losing the farm battle. It might start to pick up as she gets a couple more levels. I know this hero has a little bit of a slow attack animation, and so it's really easy for the Leshrac to kind of outlast hit her and outdeny her. And as she levels up, that Scream of Pain is going to become more and more viable to just spam out as a last hitting tool. But for now, the Queen of Pain is in, you know, she's in dire straits and having a rough time keeping her lane where she wants to be.
Yeah, and she was fooled, I think, Tango's at the start of the game as well, so this is up towards, like...
Witch Doctor. He gets jumped on and actually walks away from it with a small sliver of health, his heal keeping him alive there, and throws the coconut to keep himself safe. But they bait the jug into the trees, and now the Witch Doctor is just going to go for a run around here. Actually cuts himself out. I think if they had... I think if the Witch Doctor had tried to juke a little harder on the trees, they might have been able to lock the Juggernaut into that little tree area, because there is only this one entrance into all of these trees unless you cut your way out. And so I think if they got the Juggernaut in there and then the Brewmaster just chased him and blocked his way out, he might have been able to block him off. But none of that, none of those tree shenanigans, and the Witch Doctor lives, and that'll be it.
Bruce got level 6, so right now, oh, good coconut bounce. Bruce is going to take out the A with a nice little thunderclap and right click onto A's bottom there. Takes him down, and now Jug and Spiritbreaker are forced to kind of back out as Brewmaster says, hey, I've got level 6, respect me. And meanwhile, Gyro gets a solo kill bottom on the Wind Ranger, using that call down ability in the tree line, and Wind Ranger's going to fall even more behind.
Yeah, Caesar ducked into the trees and just goes for it. Drops the ulti and throws out the rocket barrages and brings her down. So, well played there. Mid lane, we're going to see the Witch Doctor TP in, and Alex Babies actually misses his stun, so this could be trouble, but he turns it back around, and the damage is enough. He brings down the Queen of Pain, trades his life for hers with the Witch Doctor, but I think the way that golden XP was distributed there is actually in the favor of Perfectionvore. So, you know, they get a kill, and that's their first of the game, surprisingly, but Queen of Pain goes down.
Yeah, but you also have to remember that Lesh was out farming the Queen of Pain a little bit there. Lesh does get the XP, well, Quap doesn't get any, but overall, this bonus XP on the Witch Doctor is quite formidable in terms of his
goes out, and Unfucked Dota is running into a lot of issues here. Gets blocked up a little bit and gets brought down by that Fire Spirit. They're going to work now on bringing down that Ancient Apparition, but the Spirit Breaker there is there to help deal with those spirits. So he gets a kill on the enemy Juggernaut and walks away from that a happy man.
Definitely good use of that first ultimate. I don't think it was a defensive use, it was an offensive use to get a kill, which is always what you want out of your first brew abilities.
It was kind of both, to be honest. I mean, he just kind of charged at them, waited for them to blow all of their spells, the Cold Feet went out on him, the Spin went out, and then he ultied. So he kind of baited the abilities out, and then, you know, as he dropped low, popped off the brew split, and it worked out well for him.
Charge on to the Brewmaster now. We got Cold Feet and the charge coming in, so we're going to probably get the Cold Feet proc off, and he's dropping quite low here, and with no split, he's not going to drop thanks to the repel, but the right clicks are coming through. 13 HP left.